Imagine two people walking into the same grocery store with the same shopping list. One has enough money to buy in bulk, choose higher quality products, and wait for the best discounts. The other has just enough cash to make it through the week, so every purchase is based on today's balance instead of tomorrow's value. By the time they leave the store, the second person has often spent more per item, received less for their money, and unknowingly stepped deeper into a financial pattern that repeats itself month after month. This is one of the quietest realities of modern economics. Being broke is often far more expensive than most people realize, not because of a lack of intelligence or effort, but because scarcity changes both the choices available and the way the human mind processes those choices. Economists sometimes describe this as the scarcity effect, a condition in which limited resources demand so much immediate attention that long-term thinking becomes increasingly difficult. When money is consistently tight, every financial decision carries greater weight because there is almost no room for error. A small, unexpected expense, a higher utility bill, or even replacing a worn-out tire can force an entire budget to shift overnight. Instead of comparing the best long-term options, attention narrows towards solving the most urgent problem. This response is not irrational. It is an adaptation to constant pressure, yet it often creates outcomes that become more expensive over time. Consider a simple example involving shoes. One person can comfortably spend $120 on a durable pair that lasts several years. Another person can only afford $30 shoes, even though they wear out every few months. At first glance, the cheaper purchase appears financially responsible because it fits the current budget. Yet after several replacements, the total cost quietly exceeds the price of the higher quality option. The expensive part was never the shoes themselves. It was the inability to choose the option with the lowest long-term cost. The same pattern appears throughout everyday life. Buying groceries in larger quantities usually lowers the price per unit, but bulk purchases require money that many households simply do not have available at the right moment. Paying insurance annually is often cheaper than monthly installments, but annual payments require savings that are difficult to build when every paycheck already has a destination. Owning reliable transportation reduces repair bills and missed work, yet replacing an unreliable vehicle often requires access to credit or cash that remains out of reach. Each individual decision seems reasonable when viewed alone, but together they create what economists sometimes call a poverty premium, where people with fewer financial resources end up paying more for the same necessities. Behavioral economics helps explain why this cycle becomes so persistent. The human brain naturally prioritizes immediate needs over distant rewards, and that tendency becomes even stronger under financial stress. When rent is due in a few days, the potential benefit of saving money 6 months from now feels abstract compared with the certainty of today's obligations. Researchers have found that scarcity captures attention in much the same way. An urgent deadline dominates your thoughts. Mental energy becomes concentrated on immediate shortages, leaving less capacity for planning, comparison, or evaluating future consequences. This is not a question of discipline alone. It is also a question of cognitive bandwidth. Now imagine two households earning exactly the same annual income. The first has an emergency fund equal to 3 months of expenses. The second has no savings at all. When an unexpected $1,000 repair arrives, their experiences immediately diverge. The first household pays the bill and continues with relatively little disruption. The second may rely on a high-interest credit card, delay the repair, or borrow money under unfavorable terms. Months later, both households face the same unexpected expense, yet one paid roughly $1,000, while the other may ultimately repay considerably more because interest, late fees, or additional damage accumulated over time. The original expense remained identical. The financial system surrounding it did not. This illustrates an important principle of mathematical money mechanics. Cost is not defined only by price. Timing also matters. The ability to delay purchases, compare alternatives, negotiate better terms, or simply wait for a sale has measurable financial value. Scarcity often removes that flexibility. Decisions become constrained, not by preference, but by urgency, and urgency usually carries a price. History provides many examples of this pattern extending beyond individual households. During periods of economic instability, families with limited savings have often been forced to sell valuable assets at unfavorable prices simply to cover immediate expenses, while those with greater financial reserves could wait until market conditions improved. The difference was rarely superior intelligence. It was the ability to withstand short-term pressure without making permanent financial sacrifices. Modern financial systems can unintentionally reinforce these dynamics. Lower credit scores often result in higher borrowing costs. Limited savings reduce access to discounts that reward larger purchases. Irregular cash flow increases the likelihood of overdraft fees, service charges, or costly borrowing. None of these expenses appear dramatic on their own, but together they form a network of small financial frictions that steadily increase the cost of everyday life for those who can least afford them. One useful way to think about scarcity is to separate income from financial resilience. Income measures how much money enters a household. Resilience measures how many unexpected events that household can absorb without disrupting its long-term plans. Two people with similar salaries may have completely different levels of resilience depending on savings, debt obligations, insurance coverage, and available flexibility. This helps explain why financial stability cannot always be estimated from income alone. The encouraging lesson is not that scarcity disappears quickly or that one strategy solves every challenge. Instead, it reminds us that many financial behaviors make more sense when viewed through the realities of limited resources, rather than through assumptions about personal discipline. Understanding the mechanics behind scarcity allows us to recognize patterns that might otherwise appear as individual failures. It shifts attention away from blame and towards systems, incentives, timing, and the hidden mathematics that influence everyday financial decisions. Perhaps the most important insight is that wealth is not only the ability to purchase more things. In many situations, wealth is the ability to wait. It is the ability to compare options instead of accepting the first available one, to absorb unexpected expenses without creating larger ones, and to make decisions based on long-term value rather than immediate survival. That difference may be invisible from the outside, yet over years it quietly compounds into dramatically different financial outcomes. The hidden cost of scarcity is therefore not simply higher prices. It is the gradual loss of choice, and choice is one of the most valuable financial assets any person can possess.